You're watching the Hero Network, where everyone's a hero. I'm your host Vega, and boy oh boy do we have quite some news for you today. The Flash lost a key character, due to his recent offset behavior. The Queen Bee is rumored to be up for contention to play the Queen of Wakanda. And Sony finally revealed the PlayStation 5, alongside a reveal of the next Spider-Man game. So, I know I got you a bit excited. Let's dive right into it. Get the bad news out the way first. Hartley Sawyer, who plays Ralph Dibny, or the Elongated Man in the CW Flash series, was recently fired due to misogynistic and racist tweets. Now, I won't get into right or wrong, but there is a couple of things to address considering how much of an important role he was beginning to play in the series. Now, Ralph Dibny was introduced in Season 4, and throughout Season 5 he spent some time searching for his love interest, and in Season 6 we finally have the opportunity to meet Sue Dearborn. Now, there are a bunch of other things that happen at the end of the confusing Season 6 finale, considering everything that's been going on with the coronavirus and the pandemic, but these key elements kind of affect the show in a pretty impactful way, as fans have been looking forward to seeing Sue Dearborn and Ralph Dibny become that romantic pair like they did in the comics. Now, how will CW move forward with this plotline? Will they simply replace the Elongated Man with another Ralph Dibny? We're not sure of what direction this is going to take, but it is going to have quite a bit of an impact on the overall show, especially with the arcs that have been building up to this point. Unlike, let's say, Batwoman, which we've spoken about a lot, which only had one season, Ralph Dibny's character has had an impact for the past 3 seasons, going on 4 with Season 7. Or would have been going on 4 with Season 7. And he's not just a side character who appears here and there, he's actually been a significant part of the plotline for every season that he was in, with the exception of Season 5 being more of a intentional part of the plotline, even though he was more off camera in search of his love interest. How will the CW pick up from here? It's gonna be kind of weird, but they've got a little bit of a casting issue going on at CW that maybe somebody should look into. Now, in other casting news, it seems that there's been a rumor floating that Beyonce is up for contention to play Storm in the next Black Panther movie. That's right, Black Panther 2 will be the potential introduction of mutants. And I know we say this about every movie because that's really what's going on in the Marvel Cinematic Universe right now. They're bridging properties that have been separated for at least a decade, and now we're seeing the culmination of all of these talents and greatness coming together. So why would anybody put Beyonce up for contention for that role? I'm not 100% sure, and it appears that it's not entirely true. Now, it seems that the rumor has already been debunked, as Matt Connolly has tweeted, despite overwhelming excitement at the prospect, there are currently no big deals on the table for any Disney films with Beyonce. So he was very clear to make sure he stated any Disney films, so this way there wouldn't be any casting call confusions. Maybe people thought it was for Black Panther and it ended up being for something else. Who knows? But while we're on the topic of casting Black Panther, let me throw my own suggestions in the loop. First of all, the only person that I can immediately think of that I would love to see play Storm is, of course, Zoe Kravitz. Of course, I have a massive fan crush on Zoe Kravitz. Hey, girl. But more importantly, I think she's done a great job with most of the roles that she's captured. Although some of those roles would make it a little bit of a problem for her to play Storm in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. She voiced Mary Jane in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. She also played Angel Salvatore in X-Men First Class. And she's already been casted to play Catwoman in the upcoming Batman film alongside Robert Pattinson. Now, I'm not saying that, we haven't seen some females transition from the DC universe to the Marvel universe, or even play both sides before. But with these films filming and releasing around the same time, it may be a little bit complicated. Nonetheless, if anybody over at Marvel is listening, I think y'all should give Zoe a call. Or, Zoe can give me a call. What's up? Last but not least, speaking of Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2, or rather, Spider-Man Miles Morales was just announced for the recently revealed PlayStation 5. Now, Sony crushed it. They had an incredible conference, but one of the most incredible things and exciting things that stood out to me was one of the very first PS5 games that they showed was Spider-Man Miles Morales, to fully confirm that we will be able to play as Miles Morales in the next Spider-Man game. Now, if you haven't played the Spider-Man game that came to PS4, I highly recommend playing it, as just the existence of this next game featuring Miles Morales is a bit of a spoiler, because Miles Morales does play an interesting role in the first Spider-Man game. So definitely check that out. Now, with that said, there weren't a ton of details that they showed, but we did get to see a couple of really cool things that are being moved over from the comic into the game. One of those being Miles' iconic suit. And I know it's weird to say iconic because Miles Morales has only been around for a few years, but the suit is iconic. It's the only true black and red variant. Miles Morales' suit allows him to turn invisible, which is one of the greatest tricks of all time. And it also still gives him the other spider abilities similar to Peter Parker. Now, with the suit being black and red, it also gives Miles a little bit more of a stealth experience, and if you played the first Spider-Man game, you would see that they kind of leaned into Miles Morales being more of the stealth Spider-Man than the action web-slinging Spider-Man like our friend Peter. Personally, I could not be more excited, and I don't think it could be a better time for them to release a Spider-Man or any type of superhero game with a black lead character. So I think this is going to be quite a system seller, if not a game seller in itself. Now, I do feel bad as always. It is a PlayStation exclusive title, so for any Xbox fans, unfortunately, you are going to have to join us on the dark side. But it'll be worth it, especially to support studios seeing that if they make great comic book games, we will buy said great comic book games. We have no reason not to. The game is great, and we love comics, so we're there. So I'm personally looking forward to playing Spider-Man Miles Morales when it releases in the holiday of 2020 on PlayStation 5. And Zoe Kravitz, give me a call. If you're anything like me, you probably won't be able to get your mind off the PS5 for a little while now. And that's great, because I'm sure that we'll be having some amazing coverage going on with a couple of our different shows that we have coming to the Hero Network platform. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and tell a friend to join the Hero Network, where everyone's a hero. Again, I'm your host Vega. You can follow me at WhatUpVega. Make sure you follow all of our social media at the Hero Network, and we'll see you guys soon. Everyone's a hero. Peace.